I'm going to tell you why you should be using Apple TV Plus. So we have a lot of different streaming service options out there, and a lot of them are raising their prices quite high. But there's one that is staying cheaper than most of the others, and that is Apple TV Plus. And that is definitely a big selling point for a lot of people. People are really getting sick and tired of the constant price hikes. After the writers' strike and the actors' strike, all these companies decided to use this to their advantage and raise prices up even more to send the penalty of the writers' strike and the actors' strike to the consumers. It's bullshit. No one really likes it. People are canceling. I think that unfortunately Netflix is seeing some big profit, so they aren't really learning their lesson. But here we have Apple TV Plus. They are staying humble, and they are delivering very, very good content. Apple TV Plus costs $9.99 a month. That makes it already cheaper than most of the other streaming services. And a lot of the times, if you buy like a new iPhone or a new AirPods, you'll actually get like almost like a 1 to 3 month free trial, which allows you to really get a feel for if you're going to like the streaming service or not. I would be surprised if anyone manages to preview this streaming service and find that they don't like anything on there. There's a lot of high quality content, and I actually thought now would be a great time to talk about some of this. This is going to be like a review of some shows, like a light overview of some shows, and just a pitch for why I think Apple TV is like the best bargain and just home to some really good content. For one, if you're a fan of sci-fi, Apple TV is definitely delivering on that front. Foundation, Silo, Severance, For All Mankind, these are all excellent, excellent sci-fi shows, some of the best out there. And I have to say, one thing I really do appreciate about Apple TV so much is their picture quality and their Atmos is very, very good. Far better than anything I've seen from like Amazon Prime. Hell, even better than HBO Max or Max as they call it now. Netflix definitely has good picture quality and really good Atmos as well. But I think Apple TV is even better. So they have that going for them as well. So, excellent sci-fi and just excellent picture and audio. So I listed a few shows and I want to dive into, a couple of them at least. Severance. Severance is a show that was directed actually by Ben Stiller. I don't think he directed every episode, but he definitely, had a big hand in the show. And I have to say this show was just enthralling from the minute I watched it until the very last episode. I was hooked in a way that I haven't felt hooked to a TV show in so long. It's unsettling. It's very creepy. There's something just really odd going on. You don't really get the full picture. As you're getting strung along, you feel like you're just being kept in the dark, just like these characters are. It has a great mystery and a lot of really good actors. There's a good cast in that show. I really enjoyed it. I cannot wait for season 2. I hope it hurries up. I know that the writer's strike and the actor's strike totally ruined a lot of stuff, but, hopefully this comes out quite soon. Severance is definitely way up there on my list of shows that you should be watching right away when you sign up for Apple TV Plus. Another fantastic show is Silo. I thought Silo was also very good sci-fi show. I thought Rebecca Ferguson was fantastic. I've been a fan of her for a while. She is a stellar actress. She delivers everything that she is in. And as soon as I saw that Apple TV had a show that was going to star Rebecca Ferguson, I was over the moon, very excited. I knew that this was going to be a really entertaining show, and it really was. It did take me a little bit to get into it, but once I got in, I was hooked. There's some, scheming going on, a lot of just mystery as well with that show. I thought that show is definitely worth watching. All right, I'll do one more sci-fi show because I think that this is really where Apple TV is shining, and it would be foolish for me not to talk about Foundation. Foundation is also a very stellar show. The show, I will be honest, when I first watched it, it didn't really hook me. I was into it, and then I stepped back away from it, and then I came back when I saw that season 2 came out, and I just binge watched the heck out of season 1 and season 2, and wow, this show just kept me on the edge of my seat. One thing that is very interesting about this show is it spans so much time. It's insane how much time this show spans. You think you've seen time jumps in TV shows before, you haven't seen anything like what you'll see in Foundation. There is just a array of very fascinating characters, and you just really feel like the insignificance of the individual human being when you watch that show, and you realize that time is just flipping and slipping away, and you're just like, wow, in the blink of an eye, this show just moved 100 years. And I definitely think a lot of people would really enjoy that show. Lee Pace is definitely a good actor. He plays a asshole in that show. And there's a female in that show. Her name is Demerzel. This woman really ticks me off. She is a pistol. Definitely a good show. You should definitely be checking it out. In terms of comedy, I think everybody has heard of Ted Lasso. That show is extremely heartwarming. Jason Sudeikis definitely is a knockout actor in that show. But it's not just Jason Sudeikis that makes that show so interesting. Coach Beard was also really excellent. Brett Goldstein as Moody Roy Kent. He was also just fantastic in that show. There's just a lot of really good performances in that show, and it's just an easy show to watch, even if you're not into like soccer or football, as they call it over there, or soccer. We call it soccer. They call it football. Yeah. Even if you're not into football or sports in general, this show is definitely a really excellent show. So many heartwarming moments, so many memorable characters that you're just going to really fall in love with. And another excellent comedy show from Ted Lawrence, the guy who made, from Todd Lawrence, the guy who also made Ted Lasso, is Shrinking. And I was extremely excited to watch this show when I first saw the poster, because I was like, oh my God, is that Harrison Ford on a television show? Color me surprised. I was so excited to see Harrison Ford acting in a TV show. And he acts next to Jason Segel. This is a very, very good show. It's not just funny, but it also has like a lot of heart, a lot of depth. So many just smile moments. I thought this show was stellar. You could definitely tell that Harrison Ford was having a good time. I was so excited to see that, because this guy has a very distinguished career. He could do whatever role he wants. I mean, I guess he has to play kind of old people now, but you know, he has his pick of the litter. If somebody wants him in something, he's in it. If he wants to, no, I got that wrong. If he wants to be in something, he's in it. He has a presence. He has a commanding, effect on Hollywood. And it was just so exciting to see him in this show, just having a great time. This was a very good show. I cannot wait for the second season of this as well. Another thing that I think is really cool about Apple TV Plus is that you can actually trust getting into a show and believe that it won't be just canceled like that. Because Netflix lately has been jumping the gun and just canceling things before it really gets legs. Not a lot of shows just get immediately take off. Sometimes shows take a little bit. Sometimes it takes a season for people to really get into it. And, that might cause some low viewership, but you need to look at like some of the data, some of the reviews, look at IMDb, look at the comments. People are happy with some of these shows that Netflix is canceling, and they're just not immediately flocking to it. Maybe the fucking price hikes have something to do with it, but anyway, I think Netflix definitely cancels their show way too fast. And one thing about Apple TV is most of the shows, in fact, I think every show I've seen has definitely gotten a second or third season. And that is something really good. You can get into a show without worrying that you're going to get left in the dark with no closure. I think Apple TV definitely is excelling in that regard for sure. It was last year or the year before that Apple TV actually won an Oscar. They won Best Picture for the movie Coda. I didn't see Coda yet. I actually have been meaning to watch it. Feel like a slacker because I definitely try to watch anything that gets Oscar buzz because I like good movies. So when I see something performs well at the Oscars or the Golden Globes or the Emmys, I'm like, I gotta watch this. I really want to see it. I haven't seen Coda yet. I definitely plan to, but I don't know. Does Netflix have a Best Picture winner under their belt? Apple TV does. There's a show coming out this month in January, because I'm filming this video in January 2024, and it's called Masters of the Air. And this has Tom Hanks attached to it as a producer and Steven Spielberg, I believe. And this show is going to star Austin Butler and I'm just really excited for this. I think he's a pretty good actor. I really enjoyed him in Elvis, and he was really good in what's that movie? Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I thought he was really good in that. I'm excited to see him in Dune Part 2. He's bald, he's creepy, he looks very menacing and unsettling. I think he's a great actor, and I'm excited to see this show. I love a good war story. I love, anything that deals with combat. It's moving, it has good sound, the picture is usually really cool. It's just usually a good sign of something that's going to be special. And seeing that Tom Hanks is attached to this, it gives me vibes of Saving Private Ryan or Band of Brothers. So this is most likely going to be a very solid option. Definitely something that you should be checking out. So overall, you definitely cannot go wrong with Apple TV Plus. The price is fantastic, and they just have some very stellar shows. I am not getting paid by Apple TV. I don't even have enough subscribers to even get sponsored by anybody. So I'm not being held against my will. There's definitely not a gun behind my back. I just think Apple TV Plus has some very solid content. If you're really into the sci-fi genre, you're going to love this thing. You're going to love Foundation, Severance, Silo. You're going to be clamoring for more. You're going to be very happy that you're not overpaying. You're only paying $9.99. That is a fantastic deal. I think Apple TV Plus is definitely something you should be checking out. And that was the whole point of this conversation. I want to get people thinking about it because there's some very stellar stuff on that streaming network. And I think that it's something that people should definitely be paying attention to. If you think this was a helpful video and I helped sway you or convince you to watch some of these really great shows, Severance, then you should definitely like this video. And if you want to see more of this guy, then definitely subscribe to this channel. And that's all I got for you. Later.